This looks like a burger, right? Juicy, golden, ready in under 3 minutes for less than the price of a coffee. But what if I told you, this burger isn't really food? In fact, if a scientist in Paris or London tested it, they might call it a chemical construction. In the United States, we're living in the imitation nation, where more than half of the calories we eat are ultra-processed, filled with chemicals, preservatives, and ingredients you wouldn't recognize in a lab. Today, we're exposing America's most dangerous burger chains, the hidden toxins, health risks, and corporate secrets they don't want you to know. By the end of this video, you'll never look at a fast food bag the same way again. 1. McDonald's, the hormone disruptor. McDonald's isn't just a restaurant, it's the most powerful food machine on earth. They created the modern fast food system based on standardization and speed, but that efficiency comes with a hidden cost to your biology. For decades, they have relied on industrial supply chains and additives to ensure a burger in Tokyo tastes exactly like a burger in Chicago. However, this massive scale makes every mistake a national disaster, as seen in the 2024 E. coli outbreak linked to their slivered onions. Beyond the bacteria, there is a hidden chemical threat known as phthalates. These are plastic softening chemicals found in high levels in McDonald's cheeseburgers, likely leached from the plastic gloves and conveyor belts used in their massive factories. These chemicals are known endocrine disruptors, meaning they mimic the hormones in your body and can interfere with fertility and child development. While European regulators have strict limits on how much plastic can touch your food, American standards are much looser, making every meal a gamble with your long-term hormone health. 2. Burger King, the forever chemical. King. Burger King markets itself with the image of being flame-grilled and authentic, but their recent history tells a much darker story. In 2025, the chain faced a massive scandal when nationwide audits revealed black mildew growing inside ice machines and encrusted food deposits on broiler belts that hadn't been deep cleaned in months. But the danger isn't just in the kitchen, it is in the very paper that touches your food. Burger King has been at the center of multiple lawsuits regarding PFAS, often called forever chemicals. These chemicals are used to coat the wrappers so the grease doesn't soak through, but they never leave your body once ingested. Scientists have linked PFAS to liver disease, thyroid disruption, and a weakened immune system. Because these chemicals are not labeled, you are unknowingly consuming toxins that build up in your blood every time you hold that hot Whopper. In Europe, these coatings are being phased out rapidly, but in the US, you are still getting a side of chemistry with your lunch. 3. Wendy's, the fresh temperature trap. Wendy's built its entire identity on the promise of fresh, never frozen beef. While this sounds healthier, fresh meat is actually a major safety risk if the system fails. Unlike frozen meat, which stays safe from bacteria, fresh meat has a very short window before pathogens like E. coli and Salmonella begin to multiply. Our health reports from 2025 showed a spike in critical violations at Wendy's locations, specifically involving improper hand washing and cross-contamination where raw beef juices touched ready-to-eat vegetables. On top of the safety risks, Wendy's serves some of the unhealthiest individual meals in the industry. The Triple Baconator contains over 2,100 calories and a staggering 3,400 milligrams of sodium. That is nearly double the daily salt limit for an adult in a single sitting. This massive dose of sodium causes immediate vascular stiffness, making your heart work twice as hard to pump blood within just hours of your meal. It raises the question, is fresh a health benefit, or just a clever marketing mask for a cardiovascular nightmare? 4. My 5 Guys. The premium calorie illusion. Five Guys has managed to convince the public that their food is premium just because they use peanut oil and don't have freezers. However, when you look at the actual data, Five Guys is frequently cited for having the most dangerous individual burgers for your heart. A standard cheeseburger here contains nearly 1,000 calories and 26 grams of saturated fat, which is almost your entire daily limit in a single sandwich. Even worse is their policy on antibiotics. Five Guys has consistently received a failing F grade for its lack of public policy on sourcing antibiotic-free beef. This means the meat likely comes from factory farms where cows are pumped full of drugs to survive unsanitary conditions. This practice contributes to the rise of antibiotic-resistant superbugs in the human population. But you aren't just paying a premium price for a burger. You're paying to support a system that prioritizes fat and industrial farming over your actual longevity. 5. Smashburger. The gourmet salt secret. Smashburger uses gourmet marketing to make you feel like you're making a sophisticated choice, but their ingredients tell a different story. They rely heavily on extreme levels of sodium and butter to create flavor, with their BBQ bacon cheddar burger delivering over 1,000 calories and massive salt counts that would trigger health warnings in other countries. Despite their better ingredients slogan, they have struggled to meet modern standards for antibiotic-free beef, often sourcing their meat from the same industrial suppliers as the cheaper chains. They use chemical flavor enhancers and stabilizers to ensure that smashed patty tastes the same in every city, creating an addictive profile that keeps you coming back. By the time you finish your meal, your body is processing the same heavy load of chemicals and fats found at a budget drive-thru, but your wallet is significantly lighter. 6. Whataburger, the cardiovascular hazard. Whataburger is a legendary brand in the South, but heart doctors have been raising the alarm about their menu for years. Many of their signature items, like the jalapeno and cheeseburger, are loaded with trans fats and sodium levels that are considered detrimental to cardiovascular health. What makes Whataburger particularly concerning is the lack of transparency regarding their specific ingredient lists compared to modern competitors. Many of their sauces and buns still contain artificial colors and preservatives that other chains have moved away from. Because fans have such a deep emotional loyalty to the brand, they often ignore the fact that they are consuming a mystery mix of stabilizers designed for shelf life rather than nutrition. This loyalty becomes dangerous when your heart is paying the price for a Southern classic that is built on industrial chemistry. 7. Sonic Drive-In, the sugar and sanitation crisis. Sonic Drive-In is a nostalgic staple, but their drive-in model creates unique sanitation risks that indoor restaurants don't face. Because the kitchens are often semi-exposed to the outside air, pest control is a constant battle, with several locations being shut down for vermin activity near the food prep areas. But the real danger is the double punch of their menu. Sonic is often flagged for having sugar bombs, drinks and shakes that contain over 120 grams of sugar. When you pair that much sugar with food, fried in highly processed seed oils, you create a metabolic disaster. These seed oils, when heated repeatedly in a fryer, produce polar compounds that trigger massive inflammation in your body and stress your liver. This combination leads to rapid weight gain and insulin resistance, making Sonic one of the most metabolically damaging chains in the country. 8. Jack in the Box, the F grade. Legend Jack in the Box has the unfortunate reputation of being one of the worst-performing chains in America for safety and hygiene. In early 2026, it was officially named the worst burger chain by major food critics due to poor ingredient quality and a long history of health violations. They are a major contributor to the antibiotic crisis, as they have failed to implement any meaningful policy to reduce drug use in their beef supply. Their burgers are often criticized for having a high ratio of bread and mayo to actual protein, and the beef they do use is frequently found to be held at improper temperatures. This is a chain where the value on the menu is a trap. You save a few dollars today, but you're consuming low-grade, drug-heavy meat that scientists warn is creating a future where common medicines no longer work on human infections. 9. White Castle. The yoga mat slider. White Castle is famous for its sliders, but the science behind their soft buns is disturbing. These buns have historically been treated with a chemical called azotocarbonamide. This is a dough conditioner that is also used to manufacture yoga mats and shoe soles to give them flexibility. While it is strictly banned in Europe and Australia because it is linked to respiratory issues and asthma, it remains generally recognized as safe in the United States. White Castle also receives a failing grade for its antibiotic use, and their meat is often described as a soggy science experiment because of the way it is steamed with onions to hide the quality of the patty. When you eat a White Castle slider, you aren't just eating beef and bread. You're eating a cocktail of chemicals designed to mimic the texture of real food. 10. The wood pulp and fake cheese secret. To understand why these chains are so dangerous, you have to look at what they call food. Most fast food cheese is legally required to be called pasteurized processed cheese product because it contains so little real milk that the government won't let them call it cheese. It is a mix of oils, emulsifiers, and colors. Then there is the wood pulp secret. Many chains use cellulose, which is a fiber derived from wood, to keep their shredded cheese from clumping and to add bulk to their buns. It's a non-digestible filler that adds zero nutrition. They also use caramel color in their meat to make it look like it was grilled over a flame, even if it wasn't. One of the chemicals in this coloring, 4-MEI, is a known carcinogen. These loopholes in American law allow corporations to feed us industrial waste while calling it a meal. 11. The economic trap. Why do we keep eating this? The answer is the false economy. Fast food is designed to be cheap at the register, but it is incredibly expensive for society. Researchers from Harvard University estimate that unhealthy diets contribute to over $50 billion in extra healthcare costs every year in the United States alone. These corporations save money by using chemicals instead of real food, and they pass the medical bill onto you 20 years later. They hide behind complex franchise models so that headquarters can claim they aren't responsible for moldy machines or bacteria outbreaks. They use marketing to trigger your nostalgia so that you stop questioning the yoga mat chemicals in your bun or the forever chemicals in your wrapper. Not the conclusion, you're the product. The truth about America's burger chains is that they have shifted from selling food to selling a business strategy. They have replaced nutrition with chemistry and transparency with marketing. Your body is the only place you have to live, but for these corporations, your body is just a place to store their profit. You don't have to be a victim of this system. Awareness is your first line of defense. Start by looking for chains that have real antibiotic-free policies. Check the sodium counts before you order. And most importantly, remember that real food spoils, while fake food lasts forever. The next time you see that shiny logo and smell that artificial flame-grilled scent, ask yourself, am I eating a meal or am I part of a chemistry experiment? Because once you see the truth, you can never unsee it.